Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, and welcome back to part 22 of the Inquisitor story for the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So when we last left off, Commander Otten had sent his men to capture the Prefect, Sir Elborn, for treason, and we need him as he's a champion of the new faith. So with our dwindling number of allies, we rush to the Prefecture to try and stop the Prefect from dying. It is year 1146, this is chapter 5, The Revolt, this is the Prefecture under siege. The searing sun looms high in the sky above the rebellious city. The square in front of the prefecture is packed with commoners. Just a moment ago they boldly demanded that the judges and gendarmes side with the rebellion, but now they are terrified. They fear the noble army that is coming for them. Their calls for rebellion are gone, replaced by frightened screams. You have to remember as well, Sir Elborn, despite being an ally of the new faith, hasn't actually sided with the rebellion yet. Although he might now because they're coming to kill him. So if you remember in the last episode, we took over, or we stopped the Inquisition from killing any of the new faith believers, but unfortunately we sacrificed our regiment to go down to a squad. We lost half of our men. We have no followers among the nobles yet, but we are aiming for the peaceful resolution, which means I need nobles to be at least +1 and to be leading the revolt, and then they'll have to accept our demands. So that's what we're aiming for, but we should see what happens. I feel like this decision right now will affect the nobles. Hoofs thunder against the cobblestones, the earth quakes beneath their feet. The noble militia led by Dorius Otten carves a path through the human sea. The terrified rebels scatter as the riders approach. The gendarmes remain where they are, forming a tight circle around the prefecture and Elborn. The prefect calls out to the crowd, his voice hoarse. Everyone stay calm, let them through, do not draw your weapons. Otten's riders push the mob aside and eventually reach the tall building. The Acnian commander draws in his reins only when the gendarmes all that separate him from the prefecture stairs. Prefect Elborn, how dare you disobey the orders of the province's rightful rulers? You have abused your position to appease the rebels and defy imperial rule. This inconceivable rebellion is your fault. It is time for you to accept your well-earned punishment. In the name of Archduke Melanindas, I hereby order you and your gendarmes to surrender your weapons. The Supreme Judge of the Prefecture maintains his composure in the face of this recrimination. I only obey the laws of the Empire, Sir Otten, not you or your runaway Archduke. Otten's face contorts in a predatory grin. Excellent. You've had your chance to save face, old man. Instead of a dignified execution, you and your cronies will hang, like the foul rabble you've betrayed us for. Now what can we do here? Wow. Jesus, we're getting a lot of options in this game now compared to, most events in the last couple of chapters have 1 or 2, 3 options. Now we've got dozens. Otten lifts his sword skyward, prepared to order an assault. The riders behind him are about to attack. The gendarmes ready their clubs. Their hands are trembling. They will not stand a chance against the noble cavalry. The mob begins to shift, about to flee the square. The faith of this moment hangs by a thread. So I can't stay out of it, but if I do, Elborn dies. I get willpower, but order and power go down. I can't get them to reconcile because of my reputation, and diplomacy isn't high enough. Otten relationship either. I can't overthrow Elborn. Because Otten didn't face the court of honor. I can't challenge Otten to a duel. I wouldn't do that anyway because I'd lose. And I can't get Otten's army to abandon him because he hasn't been sentenced. And the nobles aren't supporting me, nor have I got the diplomacy. But I can rouse the mob and encourage him to defend the prefect. This increases the rebel, it gives me more power, I lose order, the revolt turns to a bloodshed and I get more troops. But I lose willpower. And Elborn becomes a rebel. Now see, if I had chosen the other option with Jean, I would be on 0 willpower now, and would have to choose this and be down to -5. Okay, order's going to fall to -4. Sorry, it's going to fall to unrest. And I need, I think power, just power. We have to rouse the mob and encourage him to defend the prefect. Elborn has always protected the common folk, now it is time for them to protect him. We can't just stay out of it and let him die. Otten's riders advance on the gendarmes. If you do nothing, the prefecture will fall. You need to act, now. You leap into the mob, scramble up onto an overturned carriage and call out to the throng. You hear voices throughout the crowd. It's Brante! Jordan Brante wants to say something. You shout as loudly as you can. People of Anisot, do not fear the wrath of the nobles. Your lives are finally yours. For the first time since the Empire was founded, cast off the lot of humility. You are many and they are few. It is time to fight. For years and years, the Prefecture has always been there to protect the rights and freedoms of the common man. We cannot let it fall into the enemy's hands. Stop them. Protect the Prefect. Elbone hears you over the din of the struggle of the Prefecture. His voice joins yours. Show them you have no fear. Take your rights by force. I, Prefect Elbone, I am on your side. Your words inspire the people with a sense of solidarity. They have much to lose now, and they will not surrender their freedom without a fight. In the blink of an eye, the unwieldy throng bristles with heavy sticks, wooden clubs, and makeshift spears appear. You start giving orders from your impromptu podium, commanding this newfound army to assault the rear of Otton's cavalry. Cut the rabble down, no mercy. The cavalry turns to face them with an onslaught of sharp steel. Bones crack beneath hooves, swords slice through defenseless flesh. The stench of blood fills the square as fallen bodies dissipate into glimmering dust. You keep doling out furious commands, trying to ensure that the common folk are not routed. Hold the line! Stand your ground! Better a lesser death than eternal slavery! The riders smash into them again, but the line holds. The people have numerical superiority and their spears and clubs strike back. The cavalry begins to drown in the sea of humanity. The gendarmes hit Otton's warriors from the rear. One by one the riders are dragged from their horses. The noble militia falters. Traitorous filth, retreat! Otton and his surviving horsemen turn tail and flee, furiously carving a path with their swords. At least half of Otton's men have fallen in this battle. Cries of victory fill the square. The commoners shake their weapons, eager to follow your orders. But it is far too early to celebrate. You have only fought off one assault. Prefect Elborn finds you in the boisterous crowd. Jordan, your courage has saved the Prefecture. I am with you until the end. Whatever you need from me, you will have it. We need to hurry. The noble militia we've seen in the city pales in comparison to the forces of the Legion. I'll gather our forces to the Prefecture and establish a unified command structure. You should find Abbot Leonard and aid him in any way you can. His procession must be en route to the Silver Tree by now. The enemies of the new faith are waiting there, weapons in hand. They'll massacre each other if we don't stop them, Brante. This city is a powder keg with a short fuse. More fire and blood is the last thing we need. What we need is more allies, and having Leonard on our side is crucial. We need a spiritual leader who can unite the city against the Legion. And Elborn has become a rebel. The highest judge of Magla publicly supports the revolt. You nod to Elborn. The fate of the feud between the two faiths will be decided in the clash at the Silver Tree. You have to be there. You wish the Prefect luck, then muster your loyal forces and head to the tree. The communism power has increased, but we've gone and fallen into unrest. And the revolt has become a bloodbath, and by quite a lot. And we've got extra troops. But we've lost willpower. Oh, this is getting tough. I'm so ecstatic. This is incredible what's happening. It's nerve-wracking because I'm afraid I won't have the right options or the right consequences for the options. But so far it's going well, although it's risky. How do I become the leader of the revolt, actually? If I eliminate Sophia somehow. Which is what we need to do in order to get peace, so we'll have to do that at some point, I hope. The March of the New Faith. An enormous sea of humanity flows through Anisot, filling the streets of the Temple District. They are led by Abbot Leonard. The new believers walk peacefully behind him, many of them women and the elderly. They are unarmed, their faces show neither fear nor anger. They are so drastically unlike the throngs of rebels who are currently ransacking streets and looting noble houses. I have a terrible feeling we're going to return home to find Stefan and our father dead. The procession slowly makes its way toward the temple at the Silver Tree. The temple has always been where patriarchs of the church accept their sacred duty, along with the heavy burden of responsibility for the flock before the twin gods. When a patriarch speaks, the twins pay heed, and every 8 years it falls upon the patriarch to proclaim in their sight how their world is humbly following the lot it has been given. Long after the twins descended to our world, the Patriarch came to be elected at a conclave by the clergy. This tradition has continued for many years. Today, dozens of priests have come to the temple in spite of the unrest to conduct their rite and spare the twins' world from their wrath. But now thousands of commoners are walking to the same temple to elect the new Patriarch themselves. You and your followers take a side street to the temple, avoiding the immense procession. Soon the square by the tree is packed, teeming, overwhelmed. But the stairs to the temple doors cannot be reached. A stalwart phalanx of champions of faith blocks the way, with Jean in the lead. They are joined by the inquisitors, those who have decided to walk the path of the old faith until the very end. I will not allow you into the temple, Leonard. These heretics will not make you Patriarch. Father Leonard slowly begins to ascend the stairs. He does not argue with Jean. The abbot simply faces her with a humble smile and gestures at the people standing behind him. Doubt clouds the champions' faces. Leonard's procession is truly staggering. Even if they are mere commoners, even if they are unarmed and empty-handed, there are simply too many of them to be stopped by a few dozen old believers. Sister Jean, look at them. Are they truly heretics, all of them? They are just people, our brothers and sisters in faith. Why would the Inquisition treat us like enemies? We do not reject the twin gods. Nay, we seek them with our every thought. You rejected the law of the younger when you chose to seek your own lots. No, Jean, the only thing we reject is Ezotias' error. This argument has been going on for years, Leonard. I know each and every point you can make. Don't even bother. You will not enter the temple. And all these people, you're just dragging them down to the foot of the pillar along with you. How can you still not understand this after so many years? What do you think you're doing, Leonard? Do you not feel the wrath of the gods? I do not, Jean. When I become Patriarch, I will tell the twins that we still love and revere them just as we always have, even as we seek a different path to them. The twins will hear us. They will listen. They will understand. There will be no wrath of the gods. The new believers heed Leonard's words. They begin to firmly ascend the stairs to the door of the temple. The champion's swords do not deter them. Jean watches the massive congregation approach her, her eyes filled with remorse. She raises an arm, about to give her final order. Champions of faith, protect the sacred temple, fight to the bitter end. This is your last chance to intervene. You reach the foot of the stairs as she speaks these words. Okay, so we can walk away and do nothing, saving our willpower. The revolt gets +2 and order gets -2. Father Leonard will die and Jean is killed. We can order the priests to attack. If we were head-sided with the Empire, and Father Leonard dies, but that's fine, you don't want to do that. And again, Leonard dies here, so actually all the decisions we have here are the good ones that I want for the new faith. I can't stand with Jean again. So I've got two options here. I can lead the procession to the temple, because I've got the clergy and the common folk and the eloquence. And this makes Father Leonard Patriarch and Jean is defeated. It gives us plus for the church, plus troops, plus common folk, and plus nobles. Okay, I have to pick that. That's brilliant. That's everything I want. Or I can save the new believers from bloodshed. Father Leonard is defeated. Jean gets true death. Clergy up, revolt up. That's awful. This is the best decision, and it's because we've got clergy, common folk, and eloquence. The church will be +1, so the old faith has fallen. I will get an army. The common folk will love me even more, even though they're already maxed, and the nobles are +1. And Father Leonard becomes Patriarch, and Jean is defeated. Leonard will become Patriarch. The clergy will support his candidacy. I lead the procession of the temple. You step onto the temple stairs and address Jean and the champions of faith. These people will not turn back now. That cannot happen. The old faith is dead. How blind must one be to not to see it? Jean and the warriors of the church have no choice but to accept their faith. Those of the common lot will never decide the fate of the church, no matter how many of them come here today. No, Jean is wrong. She only sees those who are told to suffer by their lot, but they are not the ones who came here today. You address the crowd. Those who received the sacrament of the old faith before joining Leonard, may they set foot upon these stairs. May the Inquisition see that the new faith is the one true faith. One by one, dozens of people trickled through the mob to answer your call. You know them all, so does Jean. Priests, abbots of Magdalene temples, monks, Acolytes, preachers, men and women, old and young, walk up the stairs and stand behind you. Among them, right by your side, are fellow inquisitors of the Order. You have spent the last 8 years guiding them in matters of the faith, and now they have decided. Jean stares at them, utterly baffled. The champions of faith behind her lower their blades. A stunned silence falls. Leonard turns to face the people. With a faint smile, he stretches an arm forward. And the people begin to move. Halt! Wait! Stop it, you lunatics! But nobody listens to Jean. She tries to hold people back by the wrist, tries pushing them back from the steps, all in vain. She finally collapses at the door, exhausted. The people keep walking past her. Those who do not notice Jean gaze at her with silent compassion. I wonder actually if Father Leonard dies, could we have become Patriarch? But I don't think so, but you never know. Thousands of people gather beneath the majestic vault of the sacred temple. They keep coming until there is no space left, and then the crowd stares, the square, looking inside through the open temple door. The stone faces of the twins watch them indifferently from above. Leonard walks up to the altar and kneels. You stand by his side as thousands and thousands watch intently. The gods are here. A profound, familiar silence swallows all sound inside the temple of the silver tree, dimming the light of the candles. Everything is silent. Your own heartbeat is the only sound you can hear. At this moment you are the one who must ask the twins to grant Leonard permission to become the new Patriarch. Your words surge to the heavy air. Let the will of the people be done beneath the watchful eye of the twins. People of Anizot, do you wish for Father Leonard to be our Patriarch? Do you wish for him to be our voice before the twins and our mentor in this worldly realm? The answer comes in the form of thousands of voices that seem to shake the very walls of the temple. Yes! Father Leonard closes his eyes and solemnly blesses himself with the sign of the twins. Before the face of the gods, by the will of the people, I hereby accept the great burden of the Patriarch of Magla. O heavenly lords, givers of life, the younger, defender of the world, judge and counsellor, the elder, the spirit of truth and love, filling all with your presence, witness now our new faith which guides to you all those who have chosen their own lot in life. The heavy air grows incredibly thick, almost solid. The last echo of Leonard's voice dissolves in this clotted tension. There is silence all around you. The gods are watching. Silence. Leonard closes his eyes. The feeling passes, the air melts, ready to fill your lungs again. It rings with the echo of imperceptibly quiet footsteps. The twin gods have accepted the will of the people. And Father Leonard, the abbot, became the new Patriarch of Magla. The new Patriarch emerges from the sacred temple to face the elated thousands who wait outside, with you, his greatest supporter, by his side. Jean goes from zealous to being defeated. Inquisitor Jean struggled against the new faith and failed. And it is a fall of the old faith. I now have an army at my side. I'm the indisputable leader of the common folk again, and I've got the cautious support of the nobles. Which is everything I need for peace with Gaius Tempest, except for the fact I'm not the leader of the revolt. A farewell to Jean, because she didn't have a true death and she wasn't buried alive. A farewell to Jean. Jean stumbles away from the square and heads towards the base of the silver tree. You follow her. You can guess where she is going. You carefully enter the familiar grotto formed by the gigantic root. Jean is there on her knees, tears streaming down her cheeks. Her hands are on the bark of the tree as she prays. She does not notice you. Oh, I can't convert her to the new faith because I don't have relationship enough with her. And it would have given me plus 10 willpower. I should become a new believer. I can't congratulate her because she's not righteous. I can't share her sorrow. And I can't console her. I can leave her by herself, which will just give me -2. It won't even give me willpower. Or I can try and take her into custody, and she will have a true death. Oh, I really wish I could have converted her. Don't have the relationship to do it. Oh, and I would have needed 20 theology to do it. That's annoying, I think, because I think I read somewhere that there's only one option where you need 20 theology, so that must have been it, but unfortunately, I don't even get to use it. And that would have been excellent because it would have gave me the plus 10 willpower, which would have been so handy going forward, but I don't know what to do, really. Do I want her to die? Or I have nothing more to tell her? I'm going to leave her by herself. I have nothing more to tell her. You've nothing more to say to her, so you leave the grotto beneath the tree, respecting Jean's silent solitude. This could well be the last time you see her. Returning to your men, you hear rumours. The people of Anizot are moving to Empire Square. Sophia, the leader of the revolt, wants to address the city in front of the Chancellery. You have to be there. You gather your men and leave the Silver Tree for the heart of the city. The sun slowly begins to set, and Jean is now hostile towards us. So this is our point. We have to take out Sophia. And it is now evening time. The city is engulfed in riots. So I have everything I need here, just by a fine margin though. Yeah, if I lose any one of these, I will not be able to do this decision. The only thing I need to do now is to get rid of Sophia. And then I can get peace with the Overseer. Wish me luck. The rebel leader. The sun is setting. The blood-red sky quavers in the hot smoke from the fires raging throughout the city. You cannot help but recall a passage from the Lives of the Twins, one of the many pages Mother used to quote when you were a child. And the elder said, "Lo, I have cast a flame into the world, and I shall guard it until it begins to blaze." Could this passage be referring to today? You lead your followers to Empire Square. You walk around rubble, past abandoned carriages and unfinished barricades. There have clearly been clashes here recently. The dust of the departed is still rising into the sky. Thousands fill the square before the Chancellery, well over half the commoners of Anizot. The Chancellery has been under rebel control since noon. All Imperial officers either fled or were torn apart by the mob. Scraps of rumours and gossip reach your ears as you move closer. Did you hear what happened at the Great Tree? It's the Inquisitors. They just started slaughtering folks. They're grabbing them swords of theirs and start killing unarmed people. Now the procession made its way into the temple. This was a sign for the twins. All lies. The twins got angry and destroyed them all under the tree. The temple's gone, I tell you. It's gone for good. The crowd is on edge. Any dispute can explode into a brawl. A voice from the Chancellery stairs calls for another people's court. The mob turns as one. Several last straw rebels drag a handful of well-dressed nobles out onto the steps and force them to their knees. The leader of the executioners is a preacher with a mane of unkempt hair and the wild eyes of a lunatic. Father Fouad. The younger, he speaks through us. He does this. He gave us the power of his law, the power to punish our enemies, to execute them. Anyone who stands in our way is an enemy of the twins themselves. People, it is time to judge these enemies of the simple folk. What is your sentence? The mob roars so loudly the square shakes. Death! True death! The last straw rebels ready their guns. One of their captives gets to his feet and speaks out defiantly. Frederic L. Liberius. You dare call this pathetic freak show a people's court? You don't have the power, you never have and you never will. You think you can wield the law of the twins? Bah! You will come back and we'll make you pay. The aged nobleman's last words are drowned out by a thunderous volley of gunfire. One by one the nobles collapse, their bodies pierced by bullets. They remain where they fall. The mob gasps in amazement. There can be no doubt. The people's court has the power to mete out true death at will. This is what happens to anyone who dares to oppose us. All hail the revolt. All hail our leader. All hail Sophia. Sophia's going to lead us. She's going to fend off the Legion. She's going to bring justice, first to Anizot, then to the whole Empire. She's going to tear down the old ways and wipe all them tyrants and nobles from the face of the world. The mob explodes to an ecstatic chant. They shout one word over and over again. Oh, Sophia, 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 Sophia. Now. Oh no. I can't overthrow Sophia. The enormous throng bellows wildly, eager to see the face of its leader. I cannot get involved, which gives me more willpower. I can't overthrow her because I don't have... because the revolt is too strong. Oh no. Because there's too much bloodshed, I can't take over the revolt. That's absolutely devastating. Which means I can't get the peaceful victory. All I can hope for then is the Legion is defeated. No, actually I can't even do that because it's... Oh, that's... Yeah, the Anizot massacre is going to happen. I'm so upset by that. And the problem is I don't even get any benefits from that because we get power, but I don't get the revolt +2. It's already maxed, troops are maxed, common folk is maxed, and I don't get involved because of willpower. I'm not getting involved. Oh, I'm really pissed off with that. I knew there was going to be at least one bad decision. You keep your men away from the crowd and observe the situation from afar. This matter will be decided without your interference. The door of the chancellery swings open and Sophia emerges before the thousands of people gathered in the square. Her silhouette seems to blaze in the light of the setting sun. She raises a clenched fist in the air, demanding silence. The enormous crowd instantly ceases its murmuring. The voice of the leader of the revolt rings out with frigid fury. Oh, that's so annoying. Sorry, I have my microphone off there. It's a real shame we can't do anything about that. Yeah, it's just going to be a bloodbath now, and that's the end of it, and that's kind of disappointing. People of Anizoth, today is not the only day we took up arms and cast off our shackles. Today is the first day of a new era. We will begin by taking back our city. We will eliminate anyone who dares to stand in our way. Then we will declare war against the whole regime, against the entire empire, no mercy. Upon hearing these words, even the most frantic rebels fall silent. A frightened murmur ripples through the crowd. Is Sophia asking them to take on the entire world? Sophia lifts her hands high, her eyes gleam with yellow light. The mob involuntarily grows quiet and watches its leader rapt with attention. Sophia's golden glow is reflected in the thousands of eyes. That's right, war, no mercy, nobles, defenders of the old faith, the tyrants of the old regime, they will all be executed by the people's court. Every single enemy of the Anizoth revolt will be eliminated. We could have stopped this, but we can't. Arm yourselves, find and execute our enemies before the Legion reaches the city, and then when the bell tolls, go to the walls. We will unite the entire city and take our freedom by force. People echo Sophia's cry. Artisans, merchants, peasants from the outskirts of Anizoth, they all take up arms and join the ranks of the last straw. The crowd storms the streets, ready to unleash its wrath against the temples and noble houses alike. It's gone back up to bloodbath now. You lead your supporters out of the square. The time for the last battle has come. The watchmen inform you the Legion is only a few hours away. Will the outcome of the revolt be decided in combat, or is there a peaceful solution? It all depends on your actions you take in the coming hours. No, unless Sophia dies, we're not going to be able to take power. We got some willpower back, which is good. God, it was all going so well, and then we had this curveball. We got Leonard as Patriarch, we got Prefect Elborn on our side, we survived the Inquisition. Let Jean survive. Hearth and home. Now the revolt, because it is greater than one and a family is in the city. This is not going to be good. While you're busy preparing, night falls over Anizoth. The darkness brings disorder, lawlessness and chaos. In the dark, madmen, robbers and looters flood the city. These gangs have no interest in the fate of the Empire or the revolt. They see the uprising as a sign that the end of the world is nigh, and if the wrath of God is at hand, then everything is permitted. Upon hearing reports of gangs roaming the streets, you sense danger. What is stopping them from attacking your home? Your people may need you, but you will never abandon your family. Taking a squad of loyal men with you, you hurry to your home district. Your instinct proves to be correct. Even before reaching your street, you smell smoke. Sir Tibor's school is ablaze. The old man was hurled out of a third-story window and impaled on the sharp spikes of the gate below. Ashes from the dozens of burning books blanket the ground like black snow. Tomas's old house lies in ruins. Breathless, you run up the street. Your men can barely keep up with you. You hope you are not too late. You round the last turn. There it is, the ground of your ancestral home. You see dozens of figures approaching by the light of the burning houses. The thugs are close, too close. You run through the gate and into the house. Your men stay to guard the outside. You hastily open the door. Your father is on the doorstep, sword in hand. He recognizes you and let out a sigh of relief. Oh, it's you, Jordan. I'm so glad you're here. The bastards have burned down half the district and they're on their way here. He is cut short. The living room window is shattered. A torch lands on the floor. You quickly stamp out the flames. The battle is in full swing in the front yard. A massive crowd is furiously attacking your soldiers without any regard for their own safety. The looters are led by a ragged, half-naked old man clad in rags. Horrible scars on his wrists and ankles reveal his past as a convict. He yells frantically in your direction, his shrieks cutting through the din of the fray. The world is coming to an end. We've disobeyed the twins and they're punishing us. There's no punishment worse than this, so there ain't nothing to fear. These are our last hours. Do whatever you want. The crowd bellows in support of the old man. Your soldiers fall one after another beneath the onslaught of the rabid gang. The twins have damned us all. We've been damned for your sins, you filthy nobles, you false priests. But before we face our final judgment, we'll dole out a little punishment of our own. We'll take our revenge on you before we die. Our judgment cometh. The horde crushes your squad's resistance and approaches the house. The stomping of their feet shakes the windows. Your father looks at you in despair. They wanted to execute us. What were we to do, son? I can die from my home, which gives me true death, and my family perish. And Stefan dies, Robert dies. I can flee alone, they both die. My family perishes, I lose all willpower, or I can fight for my home, in which my family is saved just because I've got the valor and Stefan is at home. And the common folk go down. You, your father, and Stefan rout the gang. Let's fight for our home. Thank God we can pick that option. Stefan comes out behind you in full battle gear. There's not even a hint of fear or hesitation on his face. Carefully approaching the window, he counts the assailants and smirks. Not too many commoners for a decent swordsman. There is too time for arrogance, Stefan. Instead of congratulating yourself on a victory not yet won, think about how we can defeat them. You are first to answer your father's question. Yes, there is an entire crowd attacking you, but they are mere commoners who have never held a sword before. Once they see a true swordsman, they will yield. They have a lone maniacal false preacher leading them. Without him, they will flee. Stefan clenches his fists. Wise words, brother. Father and I are skilled at fighting back to back. No low-born scum will ever get close to us. Father pauses for a moment in contemplation. I've made many mistakes in my life, but I've raised brave sons. You fling the door wide open, ready to meet your assailants face to face. Take him alive! That one there is Judge Brante. Let's give him a little taste of our judgment right now. The enraged looters attack you. Father turns them down with a few swift lunges, but new thugs immediately take their place. You cannot hold them back for long. Your father and brother are your only hope now. Covering each other's backs, they skillfully fend off the assailants. The enemy outnumbers them, but their training gives them a decisive edge. There are only 3 of them. What are you afraid of, you cowards? The insane preacher elbows his way to the front, a huge torrent of followers in his wake. Spying the leader, you shout, "Now!" This is your chance. Like a deadly hurricane, you tear through the enemies to reach the old man. He raises his axe aloft, aiming for Father's head. But Stefan's sword is quicker. He knocks the sword from the elderly thug's hands. A split second later, he runs his sword straight through the old man's throat with perfect precision. Your elder brother's voice booms above your battle. Run, you bastards! Leave our home and never come back! The mob hesitates. One by one, the looters drop their weapons and flee. You have won. Breathing heavily, you exchange tired glances with your father and brother. You have defended your ancestral home. With a sigh of relief, Father lowers his weapon. Only now do you notice how violently his hands are shaking. Thank the twins. I was so afraid I'd lose you both. Me, die at the hands of those pathetic wretches. Not likely, Father. That's not the way you raised us. Well, Jordan, I suppose it's a good thing I taught you to put upstart rabble in their place back when you were a boy. You cannot stay any longer. The preparations for the decisive battle are not finished. I understand, son. Take care. I hope to see you again soon. And I hope you know what you're up to against Jordan. Regardless, good luck, brother. Common folk fall down a bit. You leave a small squad behind in case of another attack. You say your goodbyes and take off to face your fate. It is almost midnight. The Brante family survives the night of the revolt. That's something good, at least. And we come to the end of the game, the night of the revolt. The rebel, the final hour. So, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Lots has happened, so much to take away and think about. And I'll see you all in the next video. And if you can, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care and have a good day.